Before I get started with this video, I just want to have a quick disclaimer to let you know that I'll probably use a few colorful words. I might swear a few times in this video. If that's not your thing, not your cup of tea or whatever, feel free to pause it, turn it off now, whatever. It's just going to be the nature of this video. It's not something I do all the time, but it just happens to kind of fit in with the subject that I'm going to be talking about. Also doing another thing that I don't usually do, and if you know me, you know that I don't read a whole lot. It's not that I can't read or that I'm slow or anything like that. It's not something I do a whole heck of a lot. But in this video, I'm doing a book review of a book titled, hopefully you've turned this off by now if you are not one who likes to hear any kind of swear words or not nice language. But the book title is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. There you go. Now you know why I'm going to be using that word and words like it in this particular video. So I first heard about this book a few months ago. It's a book by Mark Manson. And at the time that I had first heard about this book, I was doing a little bit of self-reflection. There's lots of stuff that I was seeing other people getting all worked up about that I don't really seem to care about. Politics. Not that I don't care about politics. I do. I have political opinions. But I don't flip my lid over things. Right? People are getting all worked up over the Democrats taking the House or the Republicans being in the White House or whatever the case might be. I don't tend to get so worked up over these things the way other people tended to. Sports is another thing. Some people are all, my team is the best and they need to win, and they spend their entire weekend following their team. They spend all this time and all this money and all this energy following their team. Now, don't get me wrong, I like to watch some sports from time to time, but I don't go crazy about it either. I'm not following my team all over the country. I'm not paying for expensive cable subscriptions just so I can watch the show all the time. As a matter of fact, I watch very few sports events at all. I mean, I might watch like the World Series or some other championship type games, but outside of that, I don't really care. Sounds weird. And I thought to myself, am I the weird one here? Is this something that it's unique to me? And then I heard about this book. And I was like, you know what? This sounds a lot like me. It sounds like I just don't give a fuck about a lot of things. And to me, it felt weird. I was like, I gotta read this book and see, is this something that I should be concerned about? Is this something maybe I'm doing the right thing, and maybe everyone else is wrong, or maybe the opposite. Maybe I'm the only one who's screwed up and I need to get my head put on straight or whatever. All right, so I don't want to give too much away from this book, but I do want to hit on a couple points that really made me say, yeah, you know what? I'm not the weird one. At least not for the things that I do or don't care about. So, going to the book, a lot of times people struggle by giving too many fucks, as the author puts it. Like, for example, like when the bagger at the grocery store puts too many items in your bag, or your favorite TV show gets canceled, or someone cuts you off on the highway. It's like it ruins your entire day. You come home, you're talking about it. You go to work, you're like, I can't believe this person did this thing to me, and all this, and you care so much about it, and it consumes you. And it prevents you from doing the other things that you should be focusing on, the things that you should be caring about. But the negative things that happen in life, the real negative things that happen in life that really matter, we tend to ignore or avoid altogether. Like maxing out our credit cards, or our children's grades in school, or talking to our spouse about what's really bothering them, things like that. So the goal that the author talks about in this book is to learn how to focus and prioritize your thoughts effectively. The things that you really care about, you should pick and choose what matters to you and what doesn't based on your own personal values. Now, your personal values and my personal values are going to be two different things. That's what makes them personal. I might care more about veteran-related issues than you might. And that's okay. Those are things that I care about. I might care more about how my kids are doing than how my favorite sports team is doing. And that's my choice. That's my personal value. You might have different values where you might care more about something different. When you give a fuck about everything and everyone all the time, you fool yourself into thinking that you can be comfortable and happy all the time. But we know that's not the case, but we tend to tell ourselves that it is. We tend to tell ourselves that it should be that way. Anything that stands in our way sometimes becomes that source of unhappiness. Every challenge that we meet is seen as a failure, and every disagreement we have is looked at as like a betrayal somehow. But we can disagree on things. Doesn't mean we're betraying each other. It's you have your beliefs, your views, I have mine. It's cool. The book talks about a guitarist in the early 80s who was kicked out of his band, and it tore him up inside. And maybe out of spite, I don't know what the real reason was, but he decided that he was going to start his own band. His own band was going to be better than the other band. His band was going to sell more albums. It was going to play in bigger stadiums. It was going to be the most successful band ever. The band he ended up forming was Megadeth, which went on to sell over 25 million albums, right? So, by all accounts, I would say he made it. He did what he set out to do. He sold tons of albums. He played in stadiums around the world. He has thousands of fans all over the place. He did it. Kudos to him, right? Unfortunately, the band he was kicked out of was Metallica, which went on to sell over 180 million albums. By some accounts, they're one of the greatest rock bands of our time. They sold countless millions more albums than Megadeth. They were more successful, more popular, had more fans. And so this guitarist from Megadeth considered himself a failure. Despite all the accomplishments he had, in his mind, the measure that or the success metric or whatever that he was measuring himself against was how successful he was compared to Metallica. And to him, he was a failure. To you and me, someone with millions of dollars, thousands of fans, famous around the world, would be pretty successful, right? And him getting all sobby over, whether he was better than another band seems kind of ridiculous. Does to me anyways. But it's because what we value is different from what he valued. What I might value is, how many albums could I sell? Can I sell 25 million albums? That's great. That's sweet. I'd love to be able to sell that many albums and have that many fans and all that kind of stuff. I'm not that musically talented, so I never would. But if I were, that would be an awesome goal to hit, is to be that successful. But by the metric of being more successful than Metallica, which was his metric, he was a complete failure. The thing this book did for me was reinforce that my belief that you can't care about everything. There are just some things that are out of your control. No matter how good the guitarist was, it's not going to change the fact that Metallica was just better. And it wasn't going to change the fact that they were going to be as successful as they were, right? So why even worry about that? On the other hand, there are some things that are 100% in your control, or at least partially in your control. And if they can move the needle towards success or towards failure one way or the other, those are the things that are worth giving a fuck about, using the author's language. The book put into words the way I felt, and it kind of it was kind of like reaffirming to me that it's okay to not care about everything. It's okay to have a few handful of things that you actually do care about and just focus on those. Inside the book jacket cover, there's a quote from the book, and I just want to read it real quick. It says, "In life, we have a limited amount of fucks to give, so we must choose our fucks wisely." Sounds almost poetic. This book brings you a much needed grab you by the shoulders moment of real talk filled with entertaining stories and profane, ruthless humor. It's a slap in the face for all of us so that we can start to lead more content and grounded lives. I agree with that 100%. And I highly recommend reading this book. If you ever feel yourself being so stressed out and bombarded with all the crap that goes on in this world, whether it's politics or sports or religion or family or whatever it is, pick up this book, read it, give it a try. It's not that long. It's a 200 something page book, 212 page book. You can read it in a weekend, and it might just help get over some of that stuff that you're dealing with. I'd highly recommend it.